To find the product of a polynomial and a monomial, you can use the distributive property. So to clarify, the distributive property is part of the multiplication step. When you do these using order of operations, you should always check for grouping symbols first and see if you can do anything inside of the parentheses or other types of grouping symbols. Then deal with your exponents, if you have to do the exponents to simplify anything. And then you finally get to the multiply and the divide step. And remember, that is a single step. So before we jump right into the distributive property, always check to see if you can do the grouping symbols or the exponents before you do the distributive property, which is part of the multiplication step. So as I try to simplify 3x squared times 7x squared minus x plus 4, can I do anything inside of the parentheses? And there are no like terms. And remember, x squared and x, they are not like terms, so I can't add those together. And then I would check to see if I have to multiply out any exponents, which I do not have to do that now either. So then I can finally get to the distributive property, which is part of the multiply step. So when we take negative 3x squared times 7x squared, that will give me negative 21, x to the fourth. X squared times x squared is x to the fourth because 2 plus 2 is 4. Then also take negative 3x squared times negative x, and since that is a negative times a negative, that will be a positive 3x to the third. And then negative 3x squared times 4 is negative 12x squared. Be very careful on these, as you will have a tendency to make a lot of minor mistakes if you're trying to work too fast and not working carefully. Let's do a few more. So again, I'm going to double check. Can I do anything inside of parentheses? And I cannot because I have no like terms. And I also have no exponents outside of the parentheses that I have to multiply out. So I do the multiplication step, which means I start distributing. 5a squared minus 4, times negative 4a squared is negative 20, a to the fourth. 5a squared times 2a will be 10, a to the third power. Remember, there is a 1 there, so 2 plus 1 is 3 when we add the exponents. Then 5a squared times negative 7, that's a positive times a negative, so that'll be negative 35a squared. On 1b, check the parentheses. Can I do anything inside of parentheses? Got lots of d's in there, but I don't see anything that are like terms, so I can't add any like terms inside the parentheses. And since there is no exponent directly outside of the parentheses, like a 2 or a 3 or anything, I can't do anything outside of there either. So go to the distributive property. Negative 18d to the 7th power. 3 plus 4 is 7. Take that times negative 2d to the third, so that'll give me plus 12d to the 6th. 3 plus 3 is 6 on the exponents. And then I'll have negative 6d to the third times negative d, and that will be positive 6d to the fourth. And then finally, negative 6d to the third times 9 is negative 54d to the third. If you forget to add what's inside of parentheses before doing the distributive property, I guarantee you will have to simplify because you'll have some like terms on this step. And you also have bigger numbers. So do the proper order of operations, add inside the parentheses first, and then you won't have to deal with trying to add your like terms later when the numbers are much larger. Then finally, again, check for like terms inside of parentheses, and we have nothing there. And I don't have any exponents I can deal with, so let's do the distributive property. So we got two different variables on these. So this will be 8 t to the third times t to the second is t to the fifth, and that's u to the first times u to the second, so that's u to the third. Times, that will be negative 40. T to the third times t would be t to the fourth, and u times u to the fourth, that's u to the fifth. And then finally, when we take it times 2, I just got to take 4 times 2, which is positive 8, with t to the third u, and that's the answer.